All right. Today's November 17th, 2020. Now, I've been bitching about how for a while they had this total misrepresentation of publication date of an article I wrote about clandestine configurations of same sex male attractions involving people that for a long time were in resistance against Orientalism. And I wrote it at a time when I was green in a lot of ways. And if somebody had ever asked me and provided me with a formal process, I might have revised it and I might have changed some things and I might have said repudiated some things I had previously said and or altered it for the material conditions. But rather than do that, somebody allowed for an electronic version of it to be put on the website of the associated publication with a complete misrepresentation of the date. And what I understood they were doing is, in addition to other things, they were running concurrent electronic accounts associated with people from other parts of the world, including some guy. At one point in time, I have the information elsewhere. The understanding I had is they were using that specific article in reference to a man who was alleged to have been in political office in Lebanon. I believe he was the head of state. And for a while, there were reports that he had been kidnapped by Saudi Arabia, and the timing around when they were reporting this kidnapping and his absence was around the time of the date, the false and fraudulent date on that article that I had written, which was not, by the way, about anybody that identified as Lebanese, but were about people that identified as Palestinian. So I bring this up because today would be 3 years and 10 days after the fake fraudulent date on that article. You know, somebody's expecting some XCOM today, aren't they? Yeah. See, I've seen on another level a particular kind of security paradigm that was set up, connected to that article's misrepresentation and the placement of that article in a electronic account process associated with the website and perhaps other resources associated with the university of concern, which is Harvard University, as well as may have been access to other kinds of national security level opportunities or possibilities by virtue of their alumni network, right? But just for the record, let me let you know, while I have perused information on Skull and Bones, I do not consider myself a member, and I would never agree to being rushed or hazed or attempted for enticement or extortion into joining or cooperating with Skull and Bones, just so you know. But I'm going to do this because on another level, I think what it really has to do with is China. And I think it has to do with the Chinese nuclear program. My understanding is that on May 15th of 1995, China conducted a nuclear test in the Pacific area. Now, I have also information about nuclear tests that the United States performed in the Marshall Islands and other islands of the Pacific, and the long term consequences of the refusal of the United States government to address appropriate cleanup, decontamination, or other things associated with the fallout from those nuclear tests, including ones that go back 40, 50 years before I was even born. However, that test in China happened on my 18th birthday, right before I graduated from high school. And I believe it had a very profound implication for what later became my life and livelihood. Now, on one hand, I could say that I personally am a survivor of a Chinese nuclear test. I believe I am. I believe actually that's exactly what the last 25 years has shown. That in some manner, way, shape, or form, that whatever else was set up in conjunction with my life was significantly impacted by the fact that I reached legal age on the day when the nation of China, or the Chinese, conducted a nuclear test, and that had profound implications, including in terms of the manner in which I would have been allowed to have a relationship with the nuclear energy and or anything connected to physics sectors in the United States, i.e., if I wanted to get involved with nuclear energy, there was a specific manner in which I would have been allowed to have done it, which would have grotesquely depreciated me and would have downgraded my capacities and allowed them to be subject to somebody else that I was supposed to follow without question. Now, I didn't do that, right? I didn't do that. But let's review. 6 months after what would have been the 25th anniversary of that nuclear test, I have here how many videos did I make on Saturday without even being cognizant that I had made such an important benchmark? Let's see. One, two, three, four, five. I'm going to watch these right now, and then I'm going to go ahead and provide what I understand to be an assessment. That's five. Five videos that I allowed or that I selected for publication on that day. Was I conscious at the time that I'd met this particular kind of benchmark? No, I was not. But there were other things that were ongoing over the weekend that were significantly impacted by the complete misrepresentation of the kind of relationship that I could have had with China, or the relationship I could have had with other countries and or island nations in the Pacific Ocean. So I'm going to go ahead and watch this, and then I'll get back to you in a second.